If you're currently trying to lose some body fat, but your calorie deficit isn't working, that was a good connection. These are the 4 reasons why. By the way, I'm Alex, I own AG Coaching, and we help clients lose body fat the most simplest way possible. Thousands of them a year. Absolute legends. The first reason is you're eating healthy, but you're not tracking. For example, check this out. Now, I just want to start this one by saying a lot of people get mad when I show them these things or talk about this one, and I'm not trying to tell you to not eat healthy. And it's like that. I thought that was like maybe obvious, but I just want to really drive that point home. Your day of eating, your weekly eating should be 80 to 90% of like healthy, whole food. What I mean by healthy is whole food, nutrient dense. So the food you're eating has nutrients, sources, food choices. The other 10 to 20%, have whatever you want to make it fit your calories, because that 10 to 20% keeps it sustainable. It makes you not fly off the rails and inhale 6 Krispy Kremes and 2 chocolate bars and a tub of Ben and Jerry's like I used to do. But that was a long time ago. So I just want to start by saying that. All right, cool. Alex, shut up. We get it. So eating healthy and not tracking. This is a granola bowl, and it's probably one of the most common and popular orders when you go to a cafe, or if you just think, I'm going to start eating healthy because I want to lose some weight. And it's not your fault. I just want to say that as well. But I hear this all the time. So in here, we have 200 grams of coconut yogurt, 100 grams of granola, 100 grams of blueberries, and then a little bit of maple syrup on top. Now, this bad boy has 785 calories and only 14 grams of protein. Now that's absolutely wild, because I would inhale that and within an hour or two, I'd be absolutely starving. And the crazy thing is, if you go to a cafe and get a granola bowl, they're probably putting like shaved coconut on there, crushed up almonds. Yeah, they put like dried fruits in there, which rack up the calories. So this could easily go up 900,000 calories and minimal protein. Now, if they do use Greek yogurt, the protein will go up a bit, but the calories will still be as high, if not higher. On this option, we do have a similar high protein breakfast, 38 grams of protein, so nearly triple, and 456 calories. This one is 60 grams of oats that we've just cooked in water in the microwave. Add in 1 scoop or 30 grams of whey protein. Mix that in, 100 grams of blueberries on top, so same amount of fruit, and then 10 grams of peanut butter with a dash of cinnamon. This is gonna keep you way fuller for way longer, and that was terrible English, but trust me, give this a try. It's absolutely bomb. And of course, it's gonna help you stick to your calorie deficit.
I usually, when I'm like in the deficit and I'm like, I need to cut something out, cut the peanut butter.
Yeah, you take the peanut butter out and
74 calories for like
drop the calories down to like 390 or something. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, the not tracking part is where this can rack up to crazy amounts. And to be honest, it's when we see clients apply or people DM me on Instagram stuff and ask me questions, it's usually along the lines of a calorie deficit doesn't work for me. I'm eating healthy and I'm not losing weight. Our next question back will be, what are your calories? Like how many calories are you eating each day? Their reply will be, I don't know, no idea. That's the first problem. To me, that is like my boss, well, I'm the boss, so that's like getting paid, but they don't tell you how much they pay you, and you're trying to save money to buy a house or a new car, and you're also not allowed to look at your bank account. That's pretty much the same as I don't know how many calories I'm eating and I don't know how many I should be eating. Does that analogy make sense? I need to get better at these analogies though. But anyway, hopefully that helps. Now, the easiest way to track your foods is, of course, weigh them out. Pop your food on the scale and just weigh it out. It only takes 2 seconds, and that way it'll be accurate. Eyeballing your foods is also another massive mistake that I didn't include, but that one goes into non-tracking. It's been shown by some studies that we can misgauge our calories by up to 2,000. Like, that's insane. Now, to really put this into perspective, like I really want to drive this point home. To lose half a kilo of body fat every week, which by the way, that is half a kilo of body fat. That's a lot. Like imagine sticking to this for 30 days, you'd lose 4 of those. So to do that, all you need to do is eat roughly 500 calories less than your body burns every day, AKA your calorie deficit. And check this out. That is 500 calories of medjool dates. There's about 7 to 8 medjool dates. So maybe you wouldn't smash that all in one day, but that just goes to show you how calorie dense these are. Probably would smash that over 2 days. But this you would easily smash in one sitting, or if you have these macadamia nuts, that's 500 calories of macadamia nuts. It's fucking absurd. If that was sitting in your work desk drawer or close by, or even just in the pantry, you would easily just have these while you're making dinner, while you're doing this, while you're doing that, because that's literally 2 handfuls. That's 500 calories gone. And that's where people think I'm eating healthy, but I'm not losing weight. It's because that shit racks up so fast. And I also just want to quickly say, before we move into number 2, you can get the same nutrients from dates, from macadamia nuts, from any food, from other sources. That's a massive thing that people think there's these one specific superfoods, like if you don't eat macadamia nuts, you will not get XYZ blah, blah, blah nutrients. That's not true. That's like saying if you go to the gym and you don't do this bicep exercise, you can't build your biceps. But there's 100 good bicep exercises. Maybe not 100, but there's a lot of good exercises you can do. There's never just one. So you can get the same nutrients and health benefits from other food sources that have less calories. I hope that one makes sense. Number 2 is the small things adding up. Now this is where you might be tracking your calories and you might be following a meal plan, you're super consistent, but these things can just sneak their way into your day or into your week. And this is also super common that we see with clients, especially if you have kids or you have a partner that buys this stuff and it's in the house, it does become way harder. The best tip I can ever give, and this is like when every time I do a diet and I'm in a deficit, this is the hardest part. If the stuff is in the house, it's so much harder not to eat, especially things like this, like dark chocolate. 2 squares of dark chocolate is 100 calories. This is literally like 7 macadamia nuts. It's like half a handful of macadamia nuts, 100 calories. Tablespoon of peanut butter, 100 calories. That much, which we weighed out of a choc chip muffin, 100 calories. And then the granola, as you saw how dense that is, but that much granola is also 100 calories. So again, that there is 500 calories, which like we just spoke about. Another sneaky or small thing is oils. 1 tablespoon of oil is about 120 calories. And let's be real, when you're just straight in the pan, come on now, 240, at least 2 tablespoons, 240 calories. And like, let's say you cook twice a day, that's hundreds and hundreds of calories that you could be adding with oil. Now, I've also seen people use that and it's like, okay, that's enough. There goes 1,000 calories. What you can do though, is you can still use oil if you want. It has to be like a little bit though, and you do still want to track it because even half a tablespoon, 60 calories. Whereas personally, I just like to swap for something like this spray, an olive oil spray or whatever spray you want. This is 41 calories, but that's for 5 mil. And you're probably not gonna use 5 mil if you just go like you'd be sweet. Probably only gonna use like 20-ish, maybe 30 calories. So it's just much easier because it's very hard to just, unless you're literally just like then you'll be sweet. Hopefully that makes sense. All the sound effects today. To put this into perspective in terms of food volume, so how much you can actually eat as well, like this is 100 calories of macadamia nuts, 100 calories of watermelon. Just saying, just gonna leave that there. That's insane. Another very common small thing we see adding up is coffees and sauces. This is all the little things that's super easy not to track. Side note, that's also why we big fans and highly recommend, especially if it's like your first time trying to stay in a deficit or lose body fat, or you've tried heaps of times and you just can't succeed, it's following a meal plan because it removes a lot of the friction and it removes a lot of this stuff out. Or if you absolutely love it, if you're having a vanilla latte every day, which I wouldn't recommend because it's 300 calories for a large. I actually think if it's from Macca's, it's a bit more than 300 calories. But if that's like, no, I'm not taking that out, I'm whatever, cool. You can put that into your meal plan and then you don't have to think about it because it's already pre-calculated in. And that's with everything. The other bonus of following a meal plan and stuff like that is because let's say you don't put macadamias in your meal plan and maybe tell your partner, hey, don't buy macadamias or mixed nuts, whatever, I'm trying to lose some fat, then you're probably not going to buy them. And then they're not in the house. And then it's probably not something that you're going to be sitting at home thinking, oh, I'm really craving some macadamia nuts. Get up, drive to the shops just to get some, come back. So long story short, it removes the friction. But to put that into perspective, like I was saying, a vanilla latte from Macca's is just over 300 calories. I know this isn't from Macca's, but just bear with me. So if you have 2 of those a day, you're talking 600 plus calories. If you have full cream coffees a day, they're still about 200 calories each. So let's say you have 2, 400 calories. Like I said, you could put that into your meal plan or track it into the day. And if you do and you stick to it, that's totally fine. You are going to lose body fat, but I'd recommend swapping it for just like a skim milk coffee because they're only going to be roughly 90 to 100 calories each. And if you really need that sweetness, you could just put some sweeteners in there, some stevia or something, and you'll be totally fine. It's going to help. All these little things help stick to the plan a lot more. Next one, sauces. Kewpie mayo. Holy fuck balls, Kewpie mayo. It's 15 grams, which is, once you start weighing stuff out, you're gonna realize, and this is another benefit of actually tracking, you'll realize how little 15 grams is. If you have like a chicken and rice meal or something, and you just put sauce on top, 15 grams does not go far, and it's 100 calories. Whereas something like the Nando's medium, I know it's completely different sauce, but just an example, it's only 10 calories for 20 grams. Honestly, I could go on for days about how many of these little small things there is, but the key is track them into your calories, ideally pre-track and pre-plan them into your meal plan, and then you're going to be less likely to grab stuff outside of your meal plan, which is your calories. Reason number 3 is you might have set activity level too high when you're figuring out your starting calories. So if you've used a TDE calculator online, figure out your calories, and you've selected, say, moderately active or especially heavy exercise or highly active when really you're lightly or maybe even sedentary, then your calories will be much higher than they need to be. Maybe you're not actually in a deficit. So you're thinking a calorie deficit doesn't work, but the truth is you're just not in one. This is actually very, very common. So I'll leave my free calorie calorie calculator in the description if you want to use it. When you use it, you want to select the correct activity level. Now, this is not only just based on what training you do, which is what most people base off, it's what your daily lifestyle looks like, mainly how many steps you do and what you do for work. So for example, if you work at a desk, like I pretty much do all day, let's say you do in between 5,000 to 8,000 steps a day, I would still probably classify that as lightly active. Now, if you're doing like 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day and you're training say 3 to 6 times per week in the gym or sports, then I'd probably go moderately. I would generally only go heavy exercise if maybe you're a tradie, you're on the tools, you're racking in 15 to 20K steps a day, plus you're training like 6 times a week. You'd obviously be burning a lot more calories. So on that note, you could maybe go heavy exercise. But even then, you could probably get away with going moderate and you're probably just going to lose it a little bit faster. So what I would recommend doing, if you haven't done any of this stuff that we're talking about, you're like, Alex, I don't do any of that stuff, then go back and recalculate your starting calories and see if you set them too high. Reason number 4 is big weekend blowouts or cheat meals. This one hits home for me because when I first started getting into the gym and I was trying to lose a bit of fat, I was trying to get shredded. This was my main problem for sure. Now there's 2 main sides to weekend blowouts, and you'll be surprised how fast you can ruin a full solid week of dieting in one day or even one outing. The 2 sides, we have alcohol on one side, we have food on the other side. I don't have any takeout food, but just pretend it's here. Now let's start with alcohol. Beers, Corona's about 150 calories. So let's be real. I know a lot of mates that are tradies easily gonna smash 10. That's 1,500 calories just in beers. Maybe you're like, Alex, that's a bit excessive. I just like a few wines, which by the way is totally fine. You don't have to completely get rid of it, although let's be honest, it is better for your health the less you drink. A few wines, depending on which one it is, white wine, red wine, etc. Probably looking at like 120 calories for like 175 mil. Let's be real, if you're making it at home yourself and you're just pouring it in, you're probably gonna do more. So if you have a few wines, you could be racking up, what, like 450-ish calories. Let's just call it 400 to 500 calories, which again, that if you have it on top of your normal day of eating, you've just wiped out that day's deficit in a few glasses of wine. Now, one up from that is the next level, which I'd completely avoid if you're really serious about losing body fat, unless you just do it once every now and then, but that is cocktails. Some cocktails can rack easy 300 plus calories. So if you go out for an event and you have say 3 cocktails, that could easily be 900 calories. And then you have dinner, which is probably gonna be at least 1,000, or let's say it's 900, that's 1,800 calories. Now, as we keep talking about, if you're in that 500 calorie deficit because you wanna lose roughly half a kilo body fat per week, you've just wiped out more than 3 days of progress in one outing. That's just assuming that you didn't take any calories from your day, of course, which you probably would have, but that just goes to show how fast they can rack up. Now, the food, on the other hand, of course, completely depends on where you go, how much you eat. There's so much that goes into it, which we should probably make a full video on restaurant food. But just remember that there's a reason why veggies at a restaurant taste good. It's because they're cooked in like 4,000 tablespoons of olive oil.
Touch of olive oil.
Just a little bit of butter on the pan.
And then a light sprinkling of extra virgin olive oil.
So when you are going out to eat, the calories are just going to be more than at home. Now, when it comes to actual fast food, this is usually where people go out, smash heaps of drinks, and then get fast food on the way home. You can wipe out your week's deficit in one night. Easy. And I used to do it all the time and then be like, why am I losing body fat? Because I was being an idiot. And keep in mind, this is a long, long time ago, but I also thought spirits like vodka had no calories, which is the dumbest shit ever. But if you didn't know that, you're not dumb, because I didn't know that either. A shot of vodka has about 100 calories. So you can imagine how fast that shit racks up if you're on a night out. And when it comes to fast food, Macca's, Hungry Jack's, pizza, all that stuff, easy over 1,000 calories. But good news is you can actually still eat fast food and lose weight. And there is actually quite a few good options. We just did a video ranking all of them. So check it out here if you want, up to you. That was a pretty cringy ending, eh? Anyways, hope that's helpful. See you in the next one.